One of the most challenging things about the Chicago Bulls roster is that they have a lot of guards. A recent report has come out that they have given a draft promise to Devin Carter, who is a guard. We're going to be talking about that in today's video and what this means for the Chicago Bulls. This is Rico Greenhowe, and this is another episode of Bulls Digest. And before we jump into it, want to let you know that 76% of you guys that watch the videos are not subscribed to the channel. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with the latest news and happenings around your Chicago Bulls. And let's jump into the topic of the day, which is, did the Bulls make draft promise to Devin Carter? Alrighty, guys. And so, as I said at the top, one of the most challenging things about the Chicago Bulls is that they have a lot of guards. And a recent report has them linked to Devin Carter, and he's another guard, and we're essentially supposedly maybe promising this guy that we are going to draft him. So before I try to make sense of this, guys, it looks like that we might be on the good old Bulls merry-go-round yet again. All right, as we go around the merry-go-round, let's try to make some sense of this thing. All right, so first and foremost, you can find this article just about everywhere, and I'm actually breaking down an article with Casey Johnson here. Once again, he is on the sidelines to the Chicago Bulls and essentially is a beat writer here. Wrote a good piece about this and really breaks it down quite simply here. So let's go into some of the things that are said. I'm going to paraphrase that, and we're going to try to break this thing down here. So look, who is Devin Carter? He is a guy who was the Big East Player of the Year, a guy that can play both on and off the ball, and he has essentially finished 3 seasons in college. I believe his first college season was with South Carolina, and he spent 2 with Providence, but he's averaged 19.7 points per game, 8.7 rebounds a game, and 3.6 assists with 1.8 steals. His usage rate is 28.1. And another thing about this guy is that he's improved to a 37.7% shooter off 6.8 attempts. That's pretty good considering that we were terrible at shooting the 3 ball. I believe that we were ranked right around the 21st mark out of 30 teams. And his athleticism is unquestioned. He posted a 42-inch vertical at the NBA Draft Combine, plays a lot bigger than his 6'2" frame would suggest. And one guy that scouts for the NBA said that they're looking at him being a high-end type of player, like a Derek White. So they're saying the ceiling for him is going to be a Derek White type of player. Now, moving forward into this article, on the flip side of this thing, I just let off with this at the top, the Bulls have a lot of guards. All right, so we've already got Dalen Terry, we've got Kobe White, we've also got Desumu as well, and so that brings into question of, why would we go out there and promise another guard that we would want to bring him on? And again, this is something that is out there, that's reported. It's not confirmed, but it's out there that there's a rumor that he was promised being picked here. And they're thinking that it was the Chicago Bulls who did so. And lastly, one of the things that they bring up is that we have done this before, and we did this in 2018. We did this with Chandler Hutchinson, where we picked him 22nd, and we see how that turned out. It didn't turn out very well. Wendell Carter Jr., a guy that's playing very well for Orlando now, didn't necessarily go well for us initially because he was injured here. So, all right, guys. So let's make some sense of this thing, and so. First and foremost, let's start with the fact that he is compared to a Derek White type of player, all right? And so if I were to look into a crystal ball right now, hypothetically, if somebody were to come up to me and tell me, you're guaranteed that this guy is going to be, and I'm going to change this ceiling. I'm going to say that his floor is Derek White, and I'm going to say his ceiling is like a Jalen Brunson. If you were to tell me right now that that is the type of player that we are going to get with Carter, I'm going to say go ahead and sign me up. even with the fact that we have a lot of guards on the roster. Because guess what? With the guards that we have on the roster, we can make some changes here. We can figure out what we are going to do with that. And I'm going to say this yet again, because it is a merry-go-round and we're running it back. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about, guys. Look at this right here. This reminds me of what they did back in 2008 and 2009. Ben Gordon, he was 6'3". Kirk Hinrich, 6'4". Derrick Rose, 6'3". That was part of a resurgent young Bulls team, guys. We went on this season to go 41-41. We eventually got eliminated in an epic first-round battle with the defending champions, the Boston Celtics at that time. And I must say, it was quite exciting. Shout out to John Solomons. I think he was a terrific trade pickup back then. And, you know, you're looking here at a young roster. You're looking at a Joakim Noah, who was just drafted. Luol Deng had come in with Ben Gordon as well. So there were a lot of different moving pieces here. But point being, guys, if we're headed into that type of direction with a Dosunmu, a Kobe White, and then now with Devin Carter, then go ahead and sign me up for that, all right? Because I still believe we're going to move on from Lavine. I know that once we pick up Carter, I would have to believe that we're moving on from Javon Carter, all right? So that's 2 guards off the roster. With Dalen Terry, I love him as a young player. I'd love to keep him. But if it means that we start to grow in a way that we did in the 2008-2009 season, and we have to let go of that asset, guys, I'm all about that because I want to see us get into the right direction. And the one thing that I will say about Devin Carter that I do love about this young man is that, look, his father played in the NBA. I watched his father play in the NBA when he first broke into the league with the Miami Heat. So he's part of the Heat culture, right? Back in the day when they were really starting to become that gritty type of team. And on top of that, he played some great years with the Denver Nuggets, played alongside of Carmelo Anthony as they got a resurgence there with J.R. Smith and all those guys like that. They just couldn't get past the Lakers out there. But his father was a terrific pro. He's also a coach as well. And that reminds me a lot of what is going on with Jalen Brunson. His dad was in the NBA. In fact, he played with us at one point in time. And look, going back to the 2018 draft, when we went ahead and we assured that we were picking up Chandler Hutchinson, which is what this is alluding to this article, guys, 11 picks later, we missed out on Jalen Brunson, who said himself he grew up watching Derrick Rose and would have loved to be in his hometown, guys. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, we can't let that opportunity go. All right. This kid, and I'm talking about Devin Carter, young man, I should say. Look, he's got a 6'8" wingspan. And there's a lot of good things to love about him. I'm going to bring up his draft profile via the Ringer, guys. Look, he hustles. Look, he's got the dog in him on the defensive end. He is absolutely going to harass people on the defensive end. He's a crafty finisher. At 6'2", he's able to finish in traffic with trees and things like that. And the versatility, you have to love it, guys. And look at this. One of the things I want to circle about him is he's getting 8.4 rebounds a game, guys. Vooch, who is on the roster as our center, averaged 18 and 10. You're telling me a guy, and I'm not saying this is all the way going to translate, guys, but if he comes in and he's rebounding at this type of clip, you're almost rebounding as much as my starting center. And I have to say that that has to lead to great things on the defensive end and the offensive end, guys. And the knack about him is they say that he's not necessarily a great mid-range scorer just yet, and he doesn't pass well out of double teams just yet. And that's something that I think you get better at as you get a better handle, as you get a better feel for the game. I think you can argue back when I looked at Steph Curry, when he was coming out of Davidson, his handle now, or essentially once he got into the league, was a lot different than what it was in college. All right. And he still does turn the ball over at times, and he's loose with the ball out of double teams and things like that, but not as much as he was coming out of Davidson. So these are things that can absolutely be corrected. And he has the work ethic, guys, that I love. You have to throw out there, guys, that look, his father played in the NBA, so you know he's been to NBA practices. He's probably scrimmaged against NBA players, so he gets the physicality. And one of the things that they were saying is that they don't believe in him as a shooter because it doesn't look as pretty or whatever, which I don't care about, because as long as it goes in the basket, that's all that matters. And you have to know that he's been practicing from NBA range, especially if he's been in NBA gyms, guys. And so, look, that's my argument for picking up this guy. Am I in favor of us going ahead and guaranteeing it? I'm hoping that we didn't do that, and I can think of some other guards that we can definitely take a look at if we are going to look at guards. Dalton Connect is another guy that's a guard that I like him, even though he's not very good on the defensive end. I think he can be serviceable. I like our very own TSJ out of Illinois. I think that he's a terrific player that could be a good fit there. Might be a bit rich to take him at 11. Those are a couple of players that I'm like, all right, if we're going to take a chance, possibly. And I think even the young man out of Baylor, Walter, I believe is his last name, but I think that's another guard that I might want to take a chance with. But if Devin Carter is a guy that is like Jalen Brunson and he's like Derek White, guys, sign me up for that immediately. And I know it's tough to look at, guys, because when we look at this currently constructed roster, there is so many guards. And I know, guys, it looks like that we are headed on the merry-go-round yet again. But all I'm saying is, guys, if this guy is this good, we must go ahead and take a chance with him, because we can address the center and the small forward in the free agency, or we can go ahead and pick it up in the trade market as well. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that the Bulls are going to take Devin Carter? And based off this information, do you feel any better in taking Devin Carter? If they do you guys still feel like we should go after Edey and Clegan? Do you feel like the Bulls will be able to address maybe the wing and center position in free agency, even though we're going on the merry-go-round again and we don't know what we want to do and we're guaranteeing draft picks allegedly? This is Rico Greenhowe, Bulls Digest. I'm saying go Bulls. Peace. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.